allow the two children to have the budget every year.
It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay.
She
Off your mind.
like me.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah yeah. My people make we shout, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah yeah. My ego diary politico, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah yeah. This one not the off in mind, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah yeah. And in the touchlight every corner, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah yeah. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle so they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power. Over naira, still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah yeah. My people make we shout, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah yeah. My ego diary politico, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah yeah. This one not they off in mind, oh yeah yeah. My ego don't come, oh yeah yeah. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my egun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my egun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my egun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yeah yeah. My egun don't come, oh yeah yeah. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary na him be number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary na him be number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun diary na him be number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary na him be number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary na him be number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary na him be number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary na him be number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary na him be number one. Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun diary na him be number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary na him be number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary na him be number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary na him be number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìí yẹ. Mayegun máa wí. àníyàn sọ́ra jù. Presido bá rúfin o, àníyàn sọ́ra jù.
Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ, Máyégún máa wí, àníyàn sọ́ra kì í, Máyégún ti dé. Hello there. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Máyégún live. I want to apologize to us because we are starting late. And honestly speaking, I have been battling with this, this time difference so badly, right? So right now it is 2 p.m. or, past 2 p.m. in Houston, in Texas. So, and it is past 9 p.m. in Nigeria, 8 p.m. in the UK. So normally I should be like sleeping, because my program is always at night, and night here is like early momo over there. So I'm kind of like, I look like tired, but I'm all right. So welcome to Máyégún's Diary Political again. And just as you know that I do not have access to all the resources that I usually have access to back in Glasgow, but we are improvising, okay, which means we are still keeping tab on what is going on and where, why, how does that affect those of you who probably don't have a clue how the actions and the inactions of these rogues in that contraption actually affects you. So that's what Máyégún's Diary Political does. That's what I do, okay? By making you understand that even if you are not a direct victim of the misrule, misgovernance in that contraption, you are still a victim, even if you are not living in Nigeria like myself. But we are all victims of the bad governance, the failed governance, the corrupt system that exists in that place. So when people now come on to Máyégún's Diary Political to say, what is now the way forward? Well, I only offer one single solution, because every other solution, to my own understanding, they have all been tried. The only thing we have not tried as a people, just as you have the right to say no to anything, so others have the right to say yes to it as well, okay? The only thing we haven't tried genuinely, right, is for us to go back to, pre-amalgamation. May everybody carry in own gari. Do you understand? Let's break it up. There are some of you who have been raised to believe that Nigeria will still work. It's just about leadership and all those personal convictions that you have. They may be legit to you, but the thing is that we are not going to be here for long, right? The longest you will live is probably 100, Abby. So out of that 100, how many of that have you used already? Like, how much of that is actually really valuable to you? Like, not make you a burden to others. So you have just short time, which means if it is not done, then it will be pushed to our own children. And then maybe if they couldn't do it as well, they'll push it to their own children. And on like that, everybody remains in that bondage. Break it up now. Sure, you get now. So let everybody handle their own personal affairs. So on Máyégún's Diary Political, especially on Sundays, right, what we have is called Sunday Sermon. Again, if you are new on Máyégún's Diary Political, it is advisable for you not to watch this broadcast, okay? Because on Sunday Sermon, right, we call it no old bar session. It simply means everything that I'm going to say, the way I'm going to say them, whoever I'm going to mention, the way I choose to mention them, everything is deliberate, okay? anyone who feels libeled, like if they feel defamed, the right thing to do, okay, is to sue me. So it's going to be between me and them. But on Mayegun's Diary Political, we know as well that the it's not just the Templars that tune in to watch these broadcasts, okay? So what we talk about is about Nigeria, as you know, right? And the people that are destroying the contraption as it is, or made it the poverty capital of the world. So we have their names. So we also believe that those who support them, they always stop by on Mayegun's Diary Political to come and defend them. And therefore, the congregation is a mixed congregation, okay? So which means there are some of you that would personally take offense. You will be offended. I still don't understand why though, right? That anyone, right, would take the exposés on these rogues in that contraption so serious, so to heart, that they will begin to kind of like throw tantrums. You get that now, tantrums on here. I'm like, almost. So this is they get supporters. Oh, hi. Even devil self gets worshippers, they say. So I don't know. But on Mayegun's Diary Political Rights, there is no chance for you to pretend. No, I am very good at that. Okay, I can get you mad right there in your bedroom, in your living room, or on your device that you're watching from. If you are a closet, for example, if you're a closet, Buhari Din, Buhari Didere, Buhari Dinotu, Buhari Dijatu, Buhari Shuku, Ngozi Aris, Nneka Aris, obedient fools, sophisticated demorons, voluntary slaves, or ombud slaves. Maybe you are an Abrodian Ronuku yourself, right? Because we also have the Lagos Abobakus, Oshogbo Alimajiris, the Ronu Nazis, the Ronu Bandits, the Ronukus, the Yoruba Ponus. Then you have them as bad idiots, bad start. They have those who are like the Abrodian Ronukus. Those are the ones who live in a working system. They live in working countries, but they love Nigeria from abroad. Every October 1st, they will go and cut green, white, green, make different dresses, take pictures with their family members celebrating the contraption. But you know something? They will never live there. They will never live in Nigeria. They would never, most of them, they will never actually invest or put their money in that contraption. But every October 1st, they are abroad. They are the ones that will be telling you that it takes time, let's give them time, this and that, and they are living abroad. They will never, ever relocate back to that contraption, ever. They are the types, right, that claim to love Nigeria from abroad. You know, the Mumu Madus, the Mumu lecturers, the Bele lecturers, the Abrodian, Ronukus or Abrodian Abobakus. They are the ones who always want to defend the contraption from their comfort zones abroad until they become the victim of the rotten system. Then you will see them so much like so enraged, so angry on social media. And I say, Auntie, why are you so mad? Can you believe it? This country, Auntie, calm down. Now, Nigeria long baby. Is that not what you said people should endure? So you can also be that on Mayegun's Diary Political. You are welcome. We just kind of hope that you are going to maintain quorum, okay? So on Mayegun's Diary Political this Sunday, it is going to be, total gist, put it that way. As the writer of the broadcast kind of boldly, stated, is that hellrufire is now one of the rallying factor or the rallying people. Yeah, those who are pulling together all the oppositions to Tinubu to save Nigeria from this failed government. Tinubu's regime, which is illegitimate regime to start with. So Tinubu's regime has done so much damages, right, that the people now available to rescue everyone from them includes hellrufire, and he's actually back with athiefku. Man, that one guy is got knack for, you know, for people who are probably just like taking advantage of him, or maybe it's just the type that is like a, you know, double-edged snake himself, you know, waiting, like starving himself enough to act like it's being played, and then eventually, right, he wins the long game or something. I don't know, because most of the people around him have always been people who always had to leave him, you know, starting with this rufire, used him, get their own bridge, cross their own bridge, burn the bridge, only to swim back and say, okay, let's build another bridge, kind of. So hellrufire, what's that one's name again? He's calling garbage, you know, the garbage show. Shawara calls him Isiewu, garbage Isiewu, or something like that, you know. So they were the product of athiefku. And this Bulaba, Dani Bulaba, the one that just became Tinubu's spokesperson. So they always kind of like just had to use him or even come back to use him, you know. So hellrufire is talking about nation. They said, people don't remember the good things we have done. You get that now? Like, people always remember the bad stuff. You know, that Nigeria is witnessing or experiencing the worst kind of governance right now. He's talking about Tinubu. So that something has to be done. The North and the South, I think he specifically says South, by removing the West because of Tinubu, right? I'm going to play you the video. So in my own head, I'm like, true, Nigeria to finish. You know, that level of finish, maybe say, I go use English, say, your life don't spoil. See any real good person in the, you know, in the pool of politicians, patriots, people who can actually like really stand up firm. Like, what's the real person, you know? Hellrufire. I'm going to play you the audio. The video. So I was talking about how they did good stuff, but people only remember all the bad stuffs. Meanwhile, people from the North and people from the South, they have to come together to rescue Nigeria from Tinubu. Let us start with that.
The immediate manager of Chief, particularly my brother, Edwin. I work very closely together. And my link with the chief, my brother, Chief Babangida. All invited guests, family members, good afternoon. I've been asked by our leader, Vice President Athiefku, to make a few remarks. Let me begin with condolences to the family. I've already called the family to condole them because I was not in the country when this happened. And I was very happy when this opportunity presented itself for us to be here. Chief PK Clark was not just an Ijo leader or Niger Delta leader, he was a father to all of us. I first met him when I returned from exile at the time President Jonathan was acting president. And all persons of goodwill were looking for solutions to stabilize the country. And Chief Odilini called me and I came to the house, we had discussions, and by the grace of God, the country was stabilized. But today, we can only celebrate the contributions of Chief. Those of us old enough knew when he was the federal commissioner then, as minister these days, when he was Minister of Education, based on what he did at the state level as state commissioner. It's a distinguished Nigerian who fought for justice for everyone. He stood for justice and was very vocal and courageous in his convictions. He never keeps quiet whenever he sees injustice anywhere. And injustice to one is injustice to all, as far as Chief Frank is concerned. So I have been a regular visitor here, and we have worked together on many issues under the leadership of the Chief. And as Oga has said, I think the country has lost an icon. May the soul rest in perfect peace. May the Almighty God bless all that He has left behind. May His legacies continue, and may all the seeds that He has planted grow and blossom through the greatness of Nigeria. It's quite touching to hear that the last words the Chief said was, "I love Nigeria, our Nigeria." I think that is a message that everyone in Nigeria should hear. For those that want to see Nigeria break up or engage in ending violence along ethnic or religious lines. I worked with Ebi on a committee trying to improve electricity supply situation under the leadership of His Excellency Vice President Eulogy. And I was very impressed with his intellect, with his knowledge. He was representing the CBN government, but he was the brain of everything that you've seen the CBN did as far as power sector intervention was concerned. And the CBN did a lot. It's easy to discredit the CBN, particularly what Emelpele did, because he did other things that we didn't like. If I put them to court because of the currency redesign, so we are not the best of friends at the time. But we should also recognize when someone has done something good. And some of the interventions of the Central Bank of Nigeria, I must admit, you saved the electricity sector in this country. And Ebi Perry was at the thick of it. So even if the only contribution of Chief Edwin was to give us Ebi for that critical period, I think Nigeria should be grateful to him. I think everyone, no one can dispute that we, as a country, our democracy, our nation are in great ways.
There is more. There is more from where that come from. But that's hellrufire there, eulogizing Edwin Clark before he went on his political, sermon. That's what I'll put it, political sermon. So hellrufire called athiefku, like my Oga said. So athiefku has become his Oga again. Incredible. But I think we should just hear it and just get it out of the way. All right. So the rest of what he had to say here.
Just for it. And I think the legacy of D.K. Clark and the work that he has done should remind us all of the importance of being courageous, standing up for justice, and risking everything for Nigeria. I've been working on a project right about the legacies of our 6 living former presidents of Nigeria. Nigeria is said that we are the only country in the world with 6 former presidents still alive, still active. And I thought we are not making the best use of their experiences as well as their mistakes. So from January last year, I started research and I reached all the former presidents. And we're working on publishing this book by the grace of God by the middle of next year. Because it requires doing several years of research, but then also interviewing the former presidents and asking them some difficult questions. One of the questions I was going to ask President Babangida was June 12. He has answered it yesterday. But there are more I want to ask him when the time comes, and I'm happy to say that all the former presidents have agreed to the project. They think it's important because we tend to forget what good things our leaders have done, but only remember one or two of their mistakes. And taking Babangida as an example, people don't realize that the three largest banks in Nigeria today did not exist before Babangida. It was Babangida that licensed guarantee trust, licensed access, and Zenith Bank. These are the three largest banks in Nigeria. They didn't exist before Babangida came, but nobody gives it credit. So these books that we want to write are to tease out some of this. Nobody gives Vice President Athiefku the credit for leading the economic policy making under the Obasanjo administration. Many of the things that we did were being to the economic team under his leadership. But maybe because we don't write a lot and people don't read history, we tend to forget. We only remember negative things. I think it's part of human nature to remember only negative things, to forget positive things. I'm honored and humbled to come with Vice President Athiefku to condole his family and commend the work that UK Plan has done. And I call on you as a family and the other family minded to please continue this good work. The books I was reading as part of this research was a book written by the late Edwin David Edwin about his challenges to keep Nigeria together through time. To be at the forefront in this tradition. And I remember in the 60s, 70s, 80s,
90s, 100s. It's all right. Anyway, that's hellrufire. And then talking about Babangida's book, I have not read the book. I will not read the book. But there are those who are good in reviewing a book. They said it's over 400 pages, of lies. So people who have read the book, reviewing it, who have been picking up on everything Babangida published, they said that book is a book of lies. And especially where it did not, genuinely in his book, it did not take any personal, what do you call it, responsibility. Just take responsibility for annulling the June 12, right? So in his book, he rather just glossed over it by then blaming the annulment on Abacha. Abacha is dead. Some of the guys he mentioned in his book, some of them are dead. And these are people that he kind of blamed for some actions, inactions, this and that of his government, of his only legitimate regime, the man that turned himself from head of state to president. I think he's the first person as well to make himself president, unelected president. And at a point, he actually had, I think he had a state governors or something. I think he did. He had state governors. He was a military leader, a military head of state. So people have been reacting. Like the elite in Nigeria, just like Atedo Peterside said, right? He said the elite in Nigeria sometimes love to amuse themselves and at the same time try to want to rewrite history. And that's why, Babangida, that was supposed to actually be in prison, a criminal, is a celebrity. He's been celebrated. I mean, those who claim to be from the other side of the political divide at the time, the likes of Kolu and his co-travelers. So they were there shining teeth, laughing with Babangida and all that. In a book that even Kolu said he hasn't read it. Pastor Ruga was the reviewer, I think. He was the chief reviewer of the book. We said a few things about the book as well. So people have been reacting again to say, this is how they always rewrite history. So that in another 50 years, another person would possibly, and I said, oh, I found the manuscript of my own daddy's account of what happened. And they kind of like have to keep manipulating and manipulating. And so, like, for instance, the 1966 coup that was generally propagated as Igbo coup. It was deliberate. It's not a thing of pride to say, oh, Igbo's planned coup. Do you understand? So that they can now use that as the reason. They said the Igbo planned coups and killed their leaders. That's a political, narrative that was deliberately put out there. And it's been like that for long. So Babangida wrote something in his book about it. And he said, that wasn't an Igbo coup. In fact, it wasn't even like a coup. It was a revolution carried out by everyone from almost every tribe in Nigeria. The Igbos, the Yorubas, the Hausas, the Fulanis, they were all drafted in. Among the people killed, right, during the coup, you have the Igbos, you have the Yorubas, you have the Hausas, but because they killed the premier of northern Nigeria, that, racist, right, tribophobic Amadu Bello, right? So they carved that politically and put it out there enough that as a northerner, every time they want to tell you the story is that the Igbos killed our leaders. Do you get that now? So it was deliberate. And it was a very powerful one indeed. For those, I believe, didn't know that their tribalism, or is it ethnocentrism or so, right? That makes them to profile the Igbos, right? Would eventually lead to a stage where you see a generation of Igbos will reenact and say, we want to leave Nigeria. I don't think they did it, because if the intention was to, after the genocide, right, if the intention was to keep the Igbos within the union to remain part of Nigeria, there will be no reason to profile them enough that it became so like a state policy. Do you get what I mean now? So those who put this, their Igbo narrative, Igbo this, Igbo that. So Babangida came and said, okay, well, that's not an Igbo coup. Then he went on again to kind of contradict himself again by saying, I'm just kind of speaking speculation. That's part of the Book of Lies, okay? But the one that got to people a lot is that of Abiola, who was Babangida's best friend, as we were told, Babangida's best friend, right? And then he annulled it, but he won't take responsibility for it. So let me show you what Peter Said had to say on the first part here.
Oji, with the greatest sense of respect, I think I really...
The first time he has spoken about the events of June 12, 1993. And the interesting thing is that each time he speaks about the event and he explains things, the story changes slightly. So, if you say you take responsibility for something, people can respect that. But it's a little bit strange if you take responsibility in one breath, and then in your explanations, it sounds as if you're passing the buck to other people, a good number of them who have passed on. But I don't want us to focus too much on what IBB chose to write or what he chose to say at this time. I want us to focus more on that touchy subject of June 12th and why I think we should separate the book launch. You see, the book launch was a spectacle. And I think the whole way it was presented, hindsight, my personal opinion is that when you're touching a subject like that, we have to create a very somber occasion, eliminate, jokes, laughter, backslapping. It's almost like saying, I know it must sound like an extreme case. June 12th, many people lost their children. Then some lost their parents. It's a serious thing. When you're discussing the Holocaust, there should be no laughter in the room. When you're discussing June 12th, it's a serious subject. And some of us were a little bit upset at the general mood and the banter and the laughter and so on. It made us feel for those who lost their parents or lost their parents or lost their child and so on. So I think let's be very careful, because we are, whether we like it or not, we have a responsibility to help to shape what is right and what is wrong, to try and help to influence today's youth, whether we like it or not, in terms of demography. Those of us who are above 65.
He's right. But I have learned something, right, in the political structure of Nigeria. And I want to share that with, with us. Us as people, as Yoruba people, for example. So we are considered as the people who lost greatly in that power tussle where MKO Abiola was adjudged the winner of the June 12, 1993 elections, right? And we lost so greatly as Yorubas now, like I'm kind of like speaking in, in that phrase, right? So as Yorubas, we lost MKO Abiola's presidency. Then he also got killed in detention. That's so huge of a thing to do to a people. In the Nigerian setting, that majority of the Yoruba politicians actually milked that until they managed to force the hands of the military to leave. I'm not saying they kind of had that power too, but their push, their reason for standing up against, maybe not totally with what we know now anyway, but yeah, or their insistence that the military had to go and the civilian, democracy has to come, blah, 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 blah. And all because we lost MK Abiola, plus maybe a couple of hundreds of protesters who are like asking for Abiola to be freed, Abiola to be given his mandate and all that, okay? I don't think, and this is not to downplay the effect of, what that was to some families, because for losing one person in your family that way, violently, is never going to leave you. Don't get me wrong, but there's somewhere I'm going with this, all right? That when it was time for the military to leave, they had to actually negotiate power. They negotiated power that the power had to return back to Yoruba land. Their reason was that they wanted to correct the anomalies done to the Yoruba people through Abiola. So today in Nigeria, they named June 12 Democracy Day in Nigeria because of Abiola and those who died now, all right? They have a bank holiday, they have holiday for June 12 holiday in Nigeria now, okay? They have monuments named after MKO Abiola just to remember him and, June 12. Like there are so many things that have now been gazetted into the national, sort of setting of Nigeria because of what they did to the Yorubas through the Abiola family. Now let's just use that phrase, okay, that frame of context. About over 5 million people died in a needless war of ego, waged against the Igbos. Over 5 million Igbos died, right? And there is not even a single center built as a remembrance or a day set aside to remember those who died and ensure that that never happen again. In Nigeria, Baba, they barred them from talking about it. Talking about what happened to they removed it from the entire curriculum. Nobody talks about it. Nobody must say anything about it. We just have to pretend to be together and continue to pretend to be together in that manner. So, except when they write books like this and people will react and say, oh, he said, but systemically, there is no plan, no plot to ensure that an injustice done at so time to these people, the Igbos in this instance, so the Igbos will say, ah, man, 5 million people died. Most of them women and children. And we can't talk about it in Nigeria. An average Igbo person is expected to downplay it or ignore it or deny it. So you see that now, that's that imbalance, right? What they did to the Yorubas, Nigeria had to quickly find a common ground. In 1999, they told everybody not to contest any election in any major political party in Nigeria, except the Yorubas. They did that to compensate the Yorubas for. You get what I mean now? So the bottom line is that, you see, Babangida's book is called The Book of Lies. But the hypocrisy of the elite in Nigeria, that's another thing I want to mention as well. I've done a program on that before. Elite in Nigeria are the most dirtiest, stinkiest elite ever in anywhere, any country. Because normally, right, the elite, they are supposed to be the middle class up. So when government policies is going to hurt them, they can punish government. But because in Nigeria, right, the elite in Nigeria, majority of them are criminals. When you begin to check how they make their money, you will see how their money is made through the link to one government or any part of government or what have you. So at the end of the day, they cannot independently question the decisions or what have you of the public office holders, because they are all working hand in hand. And that is why you will see them declaring billions. They are billionaires. But when you now go to that contraption and you see you are living in this shithole, how are you so comfortable that you are billionaires and you do not have any 24 hours electricity in your country? So they are billionaires without any enterprise, majority of them, by the way. And the only thing they love to do is to also to throw money around to show that I've got money, I've got a lot of money, I've got loads of cash. So we're all there laughing with the evil genius, Babangida, the man that, actually legalized fraud, to be precise, like in such a never seen before way, Babangida. So they were all there laughing. Do you know how much money he made for his book launch? 17 billion. In fact, it's not 17, it's 16 billion 980 million, nearly 17 billion naira. That's how much there is to go and build library for him, presidential library for Babangida. Dangote pledged 8 billion. Bawa Bikilogwe, that other guy to that one pledged 5 billion. Danjuma gave 2 billion. Other man 17 billion. Go and build, But here is what Peter Said had to say about the elite and their hypocrisy. And yeah, in bed with your traducers.
Thrown the father or Sonny Abacha under the bus, and it's easier to blame the dead. And some of Abiola's family, children, associate, the likes of Femi Falana, Showore, and those who were on the street are already speaking. Those who were sent to exile, including President Bola Tinubu, who are supposed to be members of the cabinet, at a time when all of these issues happen, are already speaking up and saying, look, there are a lot of things to reflect on. There are those who say, oh, look, it's in fact very interesting that Babangida is owning up. It's better than him not owning up. But in all of his conversation, is it more of bravery for him to have owned up Were you expecting that kind of narrative from his book?
Let's be careful. I mean, one of my favorite sayings is a quote from Oscar Wilde when he says, look, every saint has a past. Every sinner has a future. I don't want you to get the impression that I'm saying that if somebody did something wrong, he cannot later on own up to it. That's why I keep emphasizing my concern is more like the mannerisms, the mood, the occasion, the banter, the laughter, to discuss a serious national event where people lost loved ones. That's what I'm rejecting first and foremost. So I don't want the focus to be, I disagree with some of the details, but I don't consider that to be my priority, more than sending the message that this is not the way we handle something as serious as that event in our history. That's not the kind of signal which was sent to the younger ones. So I'm concerned about the spectacle. You see, we could have even, let's say if somebody wants to make a confession, isn't that meant to be a serious thing, showing penance, calmly, whatever? This was a bit of a jamboree, and that's what I think offended many people. So it is the style that surrounds, you can't remove the razzmatazz and the backslapping and all that, so jokes and all that surrounded something from the book itself. So I think let's be very careful. I'm not saying there's anything wrong in writing a book. You can write a book. If you want, you can rewrite it. You can change the story each time. That's his prerogative. But I just want to make it very clear that some of us take exception to the manner and style in which the whole event was conducted. Instead of being something to admit, show penance, a show of shame, it was almost a celebration of sorts. And so therefore it offended many people.
Let me ask you, Mr. Peterside, I imagine that you yourself, you probably are going to be a grandfather. If you're not, I don't know. I think you are right now. And a lot is going to happen when the generation upon generation are moving, and history, a lot of times, a lot of people who had said so many things about those events in the life of when Ibrahim Babangida was head of state, perhaps one of the longest serving military head of state in Nigeria. One person that a lot of people thought was going to transit in becoming, removing the khaki in wearing the Babangida. But if you look at it this way, how does it come to you? How much of an irony is it for you? The jailer and the jailed at one time in history sitting in the same room. Those who were in the trenches and those who were being fought against, all of them sitting on the same table. And those who think that for whatever is what, the Nigeria, does it explain what the Nigeria political elitism looks like for you? What the caliber of people and the combination of people you saw in that room, in the videos that are being circulated?
You see, I'm not here to indict anybody, but I think that if you're not careful, the Nigerian elite would normalize, deceit or fraud and things like that. They will normalize all sorts of things, and that's why some people have to point out, listen, enough is enough. Let's draw a line somewhere. There's some things you cannot joke with. You can joke with all kinds of other things. So we have to draw a line somewhere. And the other thing I want to explain is that, by coincidence, very recently, we lost two very highly respected elder statesmen, people who helped to show example in terms of standing for the truth repeatedly. When you heard something from Chief Adeleke, you could take it to the bank. When you heard something from Chief E.K. Clark, you could take it to the bank. Those two of them passed on very recently. I served on the national conference with both of them. We were together in Abuja, and that was in 2014. We were delegates. I was the federal government delegate. We were involved in exchanges, arguments, for almost a whole year. So we have to be careful, because elderly statesmen like that, who helped to set the right values for some of our youngsters in terms of standing for something, always telling the truth, and so on. They've passed on. We have to make sure that a different group of elders also appear to fill that vacuum, who will stand for the truth, tell the same story the same way, tell the whole truth that will set them free. Because at the end of the day, it's a struggle for the soul of a nation. In many countries, people say it's the intelligentsia who influence everything and influence people and set the way. Even June 12th, when IBB annulled that election, that was the first time we had mobile phones. I voted on my street in Victoria Island. We knew the results. The results had come all over the country except for, I think, Taraba State. So I was a baby then. I was in my 30s. So I knew what happened. And I was among the first people that came out after the annulment to say, you can't do this. And went public, newspapers and all. Interestingly, one of the articles I wrote then, and I've never heard anybody use the expression, I sat down in my house because then there was no internet, and I called it the ghost of June 12th. And what I was writing then was that June 12th will be like a ghost, and it will haunt some people forever. Interestingly, since then, I've seen the expression, because I even tried to look for the internet.
Don't joke with it. That's the point. Don't joke with some certain things. Nigerian elite, they are normalizing fraud. That's kind of like a new, because it's not like they are going to be normalizing fraud. They've normalized fraud. They've normalized deceit, pretense, living in denial. These are the characters of the Nigerian elite, the dirty, stinking elite. As long as they can afford it, everyone else should possibly go figure it out. That's how they operate. Chancers, opportunists, pickpockets, Nigeria elite. But that's not all. Apart from Peter's side, that said it's a spectacle, it's a show of shame, and all that, right? Another person is still on this June 12th. About June 12th in Nigeria, be like, I don't know what they did. I don't know what they did to this older, surviving Igbo political class, or what they did to themselves. Because every time I hear them talk about this June 12th, man, they forced it on the rest of Nigeria, say, man, because it was supposed to be so. It was like a demataya of democracy. That's what Abiola was supposed to be, or is. But it's so important to them that once you press that button, everybody will begin to react. How dare you say that? How dare you say that? Do you know the sacrifice that MK Abiola made? It's because of MK Abiola that we have democracy, even though democracy is not working for you, though, right? But I'm just saying, it's so important to them. Killings of people. I mean, nobody even know how many people who even died on the side of Nigeria, because they buried everything. Everybody should just live with the wound for the rest of their lives. They don't want to talk about Nigeria genocidal war, because those who perpetrated that criminality, they committed crime against humanity. They know it. And that is why majority of them who got rewarded, they even kind of like killed themselves at some point, but they mostly got rewarded. They were never punished. And that is why they removed that part from any of your history. Or maybe somebody said that's why they even remove history totally from Nigerian curriculum. It's a place where anything goes. So still on this Babangida's book, somebody said it's Babangida. Babangida. Man, I'm not in my own element right now. I would have coined a name for him as well, right? But still, on the books, the book of lies of Babangida.
Oji, with the greatest sense of respect, I think I raised issues about cowardice in my opening. And let me say clearly that IBB was the commander-in-chief. If he was uncomfortable with Abacha, he should have retired Abacha. To come after 32 years to blame Abacha for the annulment of June 12 is cowardice, absolutely. To come after 32 years to tell us that he was under pressure to, I don't know those who advise him. I don't know why they got him to this foxfire. Let me say without equivocation and without mincing words that that was a terrible effort in image making. Those who got him to push responsibility to a dead man, Abacha is not here to explain what truly happened. And ask yourself, in that address where he told Nigerians that he had annulled June 12, he could have simply retired Abacha and nothing would have happened. So it was about his unwillingness to sacrifice himself for nation. It was his unwillingness to put country first. And there is nothing in that statement and in that book. Oji had spent the past 48 hours glancing through from page to page. That was why I started with the first point that got my Igbo brothers. When looking for somebody to tell us that the 1966 January 15th coup was not an Igbo coup, when looking for IBB to tell us that, we always knew that. And those who have preyed on that issue have been fair by half, have been smart by half. We know the truth about our country, and we know that the time has come for us to collectively call a spade by its name. And Oji, it is very important going forward as a nation that we call out IBB and its people. We'll call IBB and those who attended that event. Some have called it the charade, but I think that it was a meeting of individuals of the same tendencies and sentiments to tell us that it doesn't really matter how history judges them. Because, like I said, I must repeat, there is no such balance as military president. And you cannot endow a presidential library. It is to tell Nigerians that military purchase and coups is okay. And a president is, as it were, is supposed to have been elected by the people. So if you want to endow a presidential library, you must be democratically elected by the people. So we don't have a problem with Obasanjo's presidential library. If Buhari wakes up tomorrow to create and endow a presidential library, it is not wrong, it's not against the law because it was elected by the people in 2015.
All right.
IBB was never elected. IBB was never elected. So we must wake up to the urgency and the reality of now. We must, as a nation, learn to put issues properly, put the beams and the pegs in the proper place. Save and except that is done, we'll be dealing great hardship and injustice to posterity. You cannot have a military president endow a library. That's to say that impunity is right. That's to say that anybody can just wake up tomorrow and sack the parliament and throw away our constitution and after 20 years endow a library. We must put issues in proper perspective. Oji, with the greatest...
Okay. Another angle. Number one, Babangida was never a president, never a former president, but Nigeria is a place where abnormalities are normal. You go explain tire, they will tell you say no evidence. Even though they have evidence, they go sit and say about no evidence. It's a place where anything goes. Nigeria, remember? It is a place where anything goes. They do whatever they wanted. And that's it. 17 billion with the promise of another 8 billion from Dangote. That's like 25 billion naira. Obasanjo get library too, right? That's true. Obasanjo library at Adeleke. You know. So I like the part where he said, we do not need IBB to tell us that 1966 coup was not an Igbo coup. We don't need him to tell us. Abacha is not here truly to defend himself. If indeed what Babangida said about him, that is a very, very, very dangerous, cunning guy, but he was left behind so that it will help the SNG. I think it's called SMG, right? That is Shonekon's government, Then Abacha just kicked Shoneko out after 3 months, November 17, I think, 1993. Was that? Yeah, 1993. Then Abacha, like I said, Abacha is not here to defend himself. So there is a clip of Abacha where Abacha was like, there are so many things they've said about me. I think I have it.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. To start from a lighter note, because it is clear that I have been seriously blackmailed.
Imagine if Abacha is here to come and defend himself. Say, I would like to start on a lighter note because I have been seriously blackmailed. That's Abacha. The man that is not here, the man that is now blamed for the, for the annulment of June 12, the eventual arrest and the death of, it's so crazy, right? Again, I'm going to use another sentiment here, right? It is so crazy. I was reading one of the Ronu bandits on Twitter, earlier today. And the Ronuku was saying they were angry that Babangida said 1966 coup was not Igbo coup. They were mad. Okay. So he now wrote, or he typed, or posted, or tweeted. He said, Tafawa Balewa killed by Igbos. Amadu Bello killed by Igbos. S.L. Akitola killed by Igbos. M.K. Abiola killed by Nigeria. Kudirat Abiola killed by Nigeria. What are you talking about, mate? I mean, M.K. Abiola killed by Fulani, Hausa Fulani Abi, or Fulani Hausa. That's how you say it. So if you want to use bigotry versus bigotry. So how did the killings of even Adekunle Fajuyi too? Remember Adekunle Fajuyi, who was also killed with Agunyi Rossi? Who killed them? Danjuma. This is Danjuma, right? So Danjuma is not even Fulani. Danjuma is Tifi, I think, from Benue. Theophilus Danjuma. So Eronuku is not so bold enough to say Fulani, Hausas, they killed Abiola, Hausa, Fulani, they killed Kudirat Abiola. But the mofo was so so that's how they push agendas to ensure that a narrative, kind of like sticks, okay, like until when they will say, yes, this, because where did you get that from? So everybody is saying it. Who is everybody? Well, that's what people are saying. That's how they push agenda that way. So at the same book launch, the world president, I believe they got that guy from Brekete, right? It was bounced at the gate. Somebody sent me that video this morning. I was like, have you seen this? I was like, what happened? What's happened to the world president? What do you call him? That Brekete guy. They bounced him at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel in Abuja, where Babangida was launching his book.
Serving ambassador Yazona, soon embarrassing. Former ambassador Yazona, I embarrassing. So me, I saw a bit the Atamari saying that the Banza will be soon as well as Sanashiga. And seeing maintaining a boom. You have the bus instruction, you will live with it.
Nigeria can I?
Wala sun sa son zuciya cikin kai ne a yawa gurin kai
Nigeria
ordinary president, not world president. I don't know if he was invited, because I would expect such gathering where, you know, Babangida, Abdul Salami, Golos, that is a Yakubu Golos, who was Obank Paro was there, Egbere Jolantan was there, Paulu was there, Tinubu was there, right? Who else was there? So I bet such gathering will require, it will be like a strictly by invitation. I don't know the whole story, okay? I just saw him like tearing up, like, and then he walked away from the venue. So they said he was bounced. Celebration of murderers. Celebration of, I mean, I don't know if maybe it's just Misha, you know. But let's leave Babangida and his book, okay? And let us go to Osun. In Osun State, yeah, Governor Ade Dancer has conducted his own local government election. Remember, the outstanding issue was that a court of appeal ruling sort of thrown out the case of Osun State government or Osun State PDP, whichever. Because prior, right, when Governor Ade Jackson, okay, when he became governor, he went to court, got a court injunction to nullify an election to the local government area where people have been like elected by APC guys, okay? So this is him now trying to conduct his, well, he has conducted it anyway. So while he was planning to conduct his own local government elections, okay, for his own guys, ahead of the governorship election next year, I think. So he ran into a troubled water. And that troubled water was that a court of appeal just ruled that he had no leg to appeal on. That is, to appeal the reinstatement of the local government chairman, APC guys. So right now, what is going on in Osun State is something I can call a banana republic. And I am so interested in seeing how it's going to play out, okay? So initially, it was advised to postpone any local government elections since the ones you remove have been reinstated by courts and all that. So I said, no, they were never reinstated. These guys are giving a different interpretation to what the court said. So everyone shall give their own different judgment meaning, shall you get? So right now, I think he's taking control of the local government areas for himself. All this show off in the last few days where 5 people have been killed as well, right? That one seems to have simmered right now, so far. So yesterday, they conducted local government elections in Osun. Been a selection. So Makinde Ibadan was also there yesterday, today, to inaugurate the newly elected chairman. So right now in Osun, they have the alleged court reinstated chairman who have been chased away by the government of Ajugbafida. So now, Osun has now elected or selected the new local government chairman, and they have been sworn in. So right now in Osun, it's like say everything a double. Everything a double. Double. They have 2 local government chairmen in each council, 2 vice chairmen. So it's now a matter of which one is the original. To Ajugbafida, the new ones are the real local government chairmen, right? But to the APC guys, no. Our tenure will end in 2028. Okay. So let me take you back there. I saw him casting his votes, and then to when they are doing inauguration today. 2 clips together.
We do not want Wild Wild West. They should stay away from this zone. We just want to peacefully deliver dividends to our people. And nobody should resort to self-help. Even if you have court judgment, there's a process. Let the process go through. You cannot, because you have so-called federal might, I want to truncate the process. This is a federal arrangement. That's right. So I'll just stop here. Say congratulations. Makinde, thank you and God bless you.
Anyway, my video kind of like froze. That's from Osun. I didn't put that video up, the one where he went to cast his vote, right? So I got on. Am I still kind of like on anyway? Right, I think I am. Anyway, sorry about that. So my screen froze, so I had to take it off. If not, maybe we can still probably dance a little bit. I want Konsara Solong Oba. So we'll see how that goes anyway. So we have, like I said 2 days ago, I'm interested. So and I'm actually like following it bomba to bomba. So in Anambra, which has been in the news as well for a while, okay? The insecurity in Anambra State is what prompted Soludom to establish a vigilante group. And their job is to sweep the state clean of all criminals, especially kidnappers, fraudsters and others like that. So as that was ongoing, things took a dramatic turn when the traditionalists, the De Beers, right, became the center of their investigation, the investigation of these vigilantes. They said these De Beers have been involved in criminal activities, including kidnapping and all that. And since then, those ones who are famous among them, especially online, they have been tracked down, arrested, locked up. while investigation continues. There's been reported human rights abuses, infringement on human rights in itself, right, is abuse of power. I agree. So what happened? The Association of Anambra DBS, they have now protested what is called government persecution, because this is not like, this is not a fair game according to them. It is like they are being profiled. Like if I am a DBA now, if I am a, what do you call them again? Babalawo, if I am a DBA, for example, a traditionalist, that is me, that is my religion. That shouldn't be a crime. Except if I have committed any crime, there shouldn't be any reason that I should be profiled. That's the bottom line of their protest. And I saw that was like, Babalawo Poto Anambra. Say, now Anambra Babalawo be disabi, now the apprentices follow them to protest and family members. These ones can't be like, because it is their own religion. And I kind of have to respect that, by the way. It is the right to worship wherever you want to worship. As long as you are not committing any crime, there is no point in being persecuted, profiled. I won't lie to you. It is the crowd that actually got my attention. I was like, so DB are plenty like this for Anambra. Okay, we'll go and see. Sorry. See, I am having issue with my video. Okay, let's try it again. I apologize again, okay? Did the video play? Did you see them, right? Let me read my comment. Did you see them, right? But it's not good. It's called profiling. You know what I mean? This, when people have, you see, if you are a Christian, for example, you have the right to practice your religion. Sure, you get. So if I'm a Muslim, I also have the right to practice my religion. Sure, you get freedom of religion. Okay, that you don't like them is also fine, but you should not say because you don't like them, they are criminals. That is where government comes in. That is where, if people are doing anything illegally, that is where the government comes in. I understand that in that place, there's no real government. And the lack of government itself is why some of them are able to commit all these crimes. Because in a working system, okay, once you go against, once you have done anything against the law, you go down for it, whether you are a Christian or a Muslim or a traditionalist. So don't let us be profiling people. That's something that if any of us have that kind of feeling, like when you look at people, you quickly judge them. That's not a good trait. And say people I don't like, they can go to places even when they have done nothing wrong. Do you understand? So if you see traditionalists who are committing crime, you understand, you have to report them. That is the right thing to do. But now giving what is called the collective punishment, that is not good. Do you understand? So, I mean, who are we to really judge people per se, except they have done something wrong? Yeah. So, Nelly Grace, you don't go agree. Okay, that's all right, ma'am. I just thought that by using that same one lens like that, you are going to be so massively wrong. Yeah, you will be so wrong. So it is the job of the government, right? Any one of them that is committing crime, whether they are like voodoo ones or they are like, they are fake, they are fraudsters, this and that, whatever they have done illegally should be dealt with illegally, not by using a collective punishment and say, once you are a DBA, you are bad and you'll be punished. Or once you are a DBA, whatever you are facing right now, or persecution you're facing right now, you deserve it. I hate you. I don't even like them. Oh, so to deal with them, Jerry. It's not different from you saying that, oh, look at this. I don't like this guy. You know what? Government, deal with him, Jerry, even when they have done nothing wrong. Always remember that. You know, you cannot judge people because of what others have done. That is wrong. That is where you have government, okay? The government will say, this is wrong, this is right, and you know what I mean? Like, then you punish them, in my own opinion. But they have the right to protest because it's their religion, you know, it is their religion, it is what they know, right? I just never thought so many, and this one is not even the whole Anambra state. Oh, these ones are just like some people in some part of Anambra protesting that they are being targeted, they are being persecuted, and as citizens of that contraption, they have right. That's even funny. You know, every time I say, yeah, I know my right. I am a human being. I know my right. I'm in Nigeria. I say, Baba, you don't get right. In Nigeria, now right, where they tell you, say you get, you get. Even if you are quoting section 24, chapter 36, chapter nonsense there, right? You don't have any right. You know, you don't have any right in that contraption except the right that they claim to offer you. You get? Nigeria is a place where they will say, but you are guilty until proven innocent, kind of. I just never thought that there are so many DBS in Anambra. Because right now, if you come to Southwest as well, there are so many Babalawos now. If they are not Babalawos, especially Southern Nigeria though, if they are not Babalawos, they are pastors. It used to be a serious thing back then, right? Before you can see anybody that will say, God has called him. Oh. God has called Mayegun. I am now pastor, reverend, archbishop, deacon, Oludasile, founder, general overseer, Mayegun general. Because God just called me. I said, how did God call? I mean, how did God call you? I said, man, I was, I was in the world. I was in the nightclub. I was dancing, and I just heard that voice. My son, I need you to go to the mountain, 7 mountains in Ekiti. And from there, that was how God arrested me. And since then, I became a man. All those stories used to be fascinating stories. But these days, everybody don't turn pastor. So, which time God call you? Say, no, be God call me, and I may call myself. And to make the matter work, I don't go theology school, so I don't go to read Bible and all of that. I say, people know they wait me God call them anymore. They just call themselves. I say, Heavenly Father, because you called me. So in the southern part of Nigeria, it is more or less like people are into this, I can cure you, because people get problem too much. Problem no they finish for that place. So you have to be like, I can give you triplets. Man, you see, some of you are laughing. If I come here tomorrow and I say, God appeared to me and arrested me. Now, I'm sorry, guys. I just want to be winning soul for for God calling you to heaven and all of that, there will still be some of you that will be calling me daddy. I don't know how that thing works on people anyway. People are like soft-minded. And every time you drop God in that conversation, every time you drop, this and that, everybody can, everybody will just say it's true, And if I can, if I can act, because it's all acting, okay. If I can act very well, learn some few songs that I can become. Some of you will still say that man is so powerful. Your words are so powerful, sir. Daddy. I could call me daddy. So I just didn't know that a lot of people have turned to Dibia in Anambra like that too. So they are asking Solodom to do something about the fake pastors too. You know what I mean? Those who are like, lucky. You see, when you see people laughing like this, it's because you are saying the truth. People will sit down and be like, well, that's true. That's true. I did a program. There was a time I did a program of my Egun's Diary Political. And I decided to use, the Bible and the Quran to preach. Oh man, I did it so well. Africa Wala, you remember that time? I was quoting Bible here and there I can be a very good pastor that, I'm small time. Some people there will be say, now soft mind and get. You know what I mean? Once you sonorize them, like, holy, 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 Nnamdi Kanu is another. No, that's not a church song. I'm just saying, like, if I have to go and do some research and all of that stuff, watch some YouTube videos and all that about church, my conscience in it, So people are looking for solutions. They're looking for magicians. They are, and it's a place like that, you get, people are looking for anything to. So if you see any of them committing crime, they should be punished for the crime they've committed. I'm speaking in tongue, If I do it right now, some people will take it as insult. And I'm not trying to insult your belief. Don't, it's not that deep, okay? I'm gonna, what happened? Right. Sorry, bear with me. Just, my screen just went dark, surprisingly. So, all I need is just to watch some videos and all of that. So the point I'm trying to make is this, okay? Let us all try not to always like, preemptive judgment of people. They deserve it. Nobody deserves their right to be taken or trampled upon. Nobody deserves it. None deserves it. So that you are not a victim doesn't mean that you can't speak up. Okay? Don't wait till you are a victim and they say, do you believe this? Can you see what they are doing to me? See what they've done it to a lot of people too. So maybe if all of us continue to add our voice and say, go after the criminals. If they have committed any crime, go after them. Not this selective persecution and all of that. That is not justice. And that's not how to end, criminality whatsoever. So let's leave Anambra. Oh, talking about Anambra, I saw Obi, where, one of his charity work, charitable works. He was giving them 20 million naira to complete, school hostel somewhere. It's kind of like interesting, especially the telethon by the school, I think the school VC or something. I don't know. So I'm going to share that with you. Let me show you. Here.
On television.
So by the special grace of God, one day he is going to be your president. Yeah. And so, may I all have you to please.
So is my video playing?
Listen to this.
It should.
I intend to keep him for long because he has a busy schedule. We have just an opening prayer, and then I can introduce him to the school, and then I will give him the opportunity to say a word to you and to us all, and then the chairman of the Education Commission will respond to him. And then, no, sorry, after the opening prayer, we can take the national anthem. Is that okay? That's okay. Yes, we'll take the national anthem after prayer, and then I can introduce him now to the school, and of course to you all, and then I'll give him the opportunity to say a word or two to us, and then I'll invite the chairman of the Education Commission to respond to him, and then we can collectively bless him and wish him well. Are we okay?
Yes, my Lord.
Let us pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Our help comes always from the Lord.
Amen.
Gracious and good God, we thank you for the gift of today. We thank you for the gift of now. And we thank you for bringing our visitors safely to us. They are our friends. They are our sympathizers. They bring us goodwill because they love and revere your holy name. We welcome, especially in our midst, His Excellency Peter Obi, who has been going around this country and even outside, establishing relationships, building bridges. Before we can bring ourselves to pray, Lord, you have searched us thoroughly. You know our desires, how we hope to establish a community of believers whereby everybody is taken care of and everybody sees the glory of your name. We pray that this short visit will restore our hope and also will strengthen our relationship with Him and with the church through Christ our Lord. Amen. You remain standing as we take the national anthem. Stand right for the national anthem. And to sing.
We hail thee, our own dear native land. Lord, rise and turn.
The architects and the school management, I warmly welcome you to Kafanchan. We prayed for this moment. We looked forward to it. And to God be the glory, you are here. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for identifying with us, especially in this special moment that we need help. I am gladdened to present to you the projects that we have embarked upon as a diocese. Having gone through a lot and having established a special pastoral case about our children who are traumatized because they've seen, most of them, how their parents and their dwellings were massacred and destroyed. We feel that we should build a better place to take care of them. Even though in the area of education, we as a church, the Roman Catholic Church, we have a track record. And each generation of the church comes to build upon that. But we're taking it further. To take care of these children, most of them are coming from families who are devastated. Some of them are orphaned. Some of them, as you see them, they witness how their parents were massacred. And believe me, Your Excellency, no help. They are abandoned to the mercy of the church. And that's why we have to come in. And we're building this edifice of 15 classrooms and the administrative block, which contains about 2 laboratories, the staff rooms and offices, and we're dedicating a unit to take care of these children who are still hurting. We want to join with them by employing special teachers in the area of trauma treatment so that they can heal up, reconcile among themselves, and of course, they will be beneficial to the community tomorrow. This school is intended to be, as usual, a unity school open to everyone. That has been the system in the Catholic Church. It's open to all.
What you're doing about this special school, I was moved to listen to you when you said what you're doing with these children, most of whom have been orphaned by the problems that we're facing today in Nigeria. This is not peculiar to the north. It's also happening in various other parts of Nigeria, where for one form of criminality, terrorism, kidnapping and everything, peace have been offered. And the only thing we can do is to help them settle up this school and listen to what you're doing. Be assured that you have a partner in me. Who will support in building a better future for our children. I believe that if we educate them, it is my belief and I believe always that education is the #1 tool for development. If a country can secure itself, all it needs to do is to invest in education. And you are doing the right thing. And I hope that our government will realize that and also work hard to be involved. So I thank you. We start our contribution this morning.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary IBB #1.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary IBB #1.
Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
Mayegun Diary IBB #1.
Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube.
Mayegun Diary IBB #1.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun Diary IBB #1.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun Diary IBB #1.
Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí.
Mayegun Diary IBB #1.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun Diary IBB #1.
Mayegun Diary politico.
Mayegun Diary IBB #1.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun Diary IBB #1.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Mayegun Diary IBB #1.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun Diary IBB #1.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.